Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Trek YT here, or Nick, back at it again with another brand new video, and I'm bringing you guys a long-awaited video that I said was going to be out a couple weeks ago, but you know, I got busy, but it's here finally. So what it is a block combination / palette video. So basically what I've prepared for you guys is 10 builds that have different color themes or palette themes, and that's basically what the video is about, is me showing you blocks that go well together and then giving you guys an example build. So without further ado, guys, let's go jump into the first one. So here we go. So our first one is more of a stone-like one. So it contains the dark prismarine, the andesite, some smooth slabs, and then some stone bricks. So what I was going for with this one is I really wanted something that was very dark and gray and very, like, I guess structural, sort of like, I guess, a monument rather than like a house. But then I wanted to have one block intertwined that would be a very focal block. So this dark prismarine was that one block that really stood out from everything else, but at the same time it goes really well because it also has sort of like a brick-like texture, as you can see right here. It sort of fits in with the rest of it. So this is the first block combination that I thought that went really well together. So let's move on to the next one. So moving on to our next one, we have this very sweet little house, this little cottage, I guess you would say. And so it's containing the acacia. It's going to have some glass in it, I think that's the dark gray glass, and then it also has some spruce wood, it has cobblestone, has some spruce leaves, and then it has some what is that? Cyan stained clay. So it also has this cyan stained clay. So basically what I was going for is this is like a more dark looking, I guess, cottage, but I wanted to keep it really sweet and small. And so one thing that I thought for this is I wanted to have this very structured roof, just one boom. So it's like a house. It just fits in very, very well. It's a very nice house, and these blocks all complement each other. They're all on the darker, I guess, tone or darker color, and so they all work very, very well together. There's no real block that really stands out. I mean, there's some blocks that there's more of them, so I guess that could make them stand out, but for the most part, most of these blocks, they really just blend well together because they're all darker shades. So that's one tip, I guess, if you're looking for blocks that go well together. If they're all, I guess, the same shade in a way of blocks, so not like same color but different, like, I guess, light level of the blocks, so like one block could be lighter and one could be darker. So that's one way you could match up blocks that work really well together. I thought these worked really well together, especially with the green as, I guess, almost a focal block, but it isn't really because it kind of blends in as well. So let's move on to the next one. So our next one is a, I guess, nether themed one, but I didn't want to go straight nether because I feel like the nether blocks like quartz, netherrack, and all that stuff, they do go well together, but I feel like they're very overused. So if you can go ahead and find different blocks such as the dark oak, some red clay, and then some lanterns, those go really, really well together. They kind of are all on the darker side as well together. The purple of the nether, I guess, brick is very strong, so you want to use it more towards like a roof, or you just want to use it as an outline because it's a very, very strong color. But I think that these blocks work very, very well together. This is just a little example of maybe like an entrance to like a castle of some sort that could also be in like the nether or a darker biome such as like a swamp or something. These blocks these blocks work very, very well together in my opinion. So let's go ahead and move into the next one. So the next one incorporates brick, and brick is a very, very hard texture to incorporate. Brick just by itself looks very, very, I guess, newbie is, I guess, I'm going to use. So when I think of like just straight brick, it kind of looks like somebody is not too keen on building in Minecraft. They're just experimenting, I guess. So it's very hard to go ahead and find something that works well together. But what I did discover is that the light gray stained clay works very, very, very well with this, I guess, brick. I think there's not too many clays that work very well with it. This one sort of has the same color as the line in the middle, so this color and this color are very close together, so I found that those work very well together. If you just plop in a little bit of the light gray stained clay in there all over the place, it works very well together. And the brick is also sort of on the lighter side, so if you're gonna do a log as the house, you're gonna want to go with the lighter log. So I decided to go with just a straight oak because I felt like it worked well with it because they're both on the lighter side, so that also works. So I guess the 4 blocks in here are brick, stone brick, light gray clay, and then oak. So it's just a typical little house. It works very, very well together in my opinion. It got this very large grand roof that also makes sort of a focal point of the build. I guess not focal point of the block choice, but just the build is also this roof. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So moving over to our next one, I wanted to try to incorporate something sandstony. So what I had to do is I just used sandstone for the majority of things, but what goes really, really well with sandstone is our lighter wood. So like our, I guess, acacia, not acacia, our just straight oak, and then our, I don't even know what it's called. The other one that is very close, similar color to this, the birchwood is what I'm trying to think of. That goes really well together, as well as just green colored blocks. So our block choice for this is our light green or our lime green stained clay, just sandstone, some oak, and then some leaves. These are our jungle leaves. You can use any other leaf. I just decided to go with this because it has this little, I guess, detail inside of it, this little almost like berry or something, and then we just use some trap doors. So I found that this works really well together. It gets this little sandstone like monument, almost like a pyramid or something. It works very well together. So this is a very dark palette. We're working with spruce, we're working with some dark oak, and we're working with some gray stained clay. So this build, it's very cool in my opinion, but that's besides the point. But what the point is the, I guess, the lighter colored brown. So the spruce slabs and stairs and all that jazz is what is going to be your outlining block. That is a very focal block. Even though it's still on the browner side, it's on the lighter side of the whole palette itself. So how I use that is I use it to make, I guess, the eye-catching details. So we use that in spots where I wanted a little bit more detail, and then I put that block there. But if I wanted to join two logs, for example, I used the dark oak because I didn't really want to draw anybody's eye to this. I just wanted them to sort of flow together. So that's how I use that block. But then if I wanted to add detail like I did on the underside, I decided to use the spruce stair because that added that detail because it's a little lighter of a shade than most of the other blocks. And then I also threw in this, I guess, little flower bed. That's besides the point. That's not really in the palette. That's just extra detailing. So that's a little bit more of an advanced thing. But for this palette, I just chose to go with some darker blocks. I guess that's also, I said this earlier, but is a way of choosing your palette is just going with blocks that are all the same shade of color. So let's go ahead and move on to our next one. So our next one is sort of like a, I guess, castle thing. When I think of castle, I always think of stone, but I wanted to try to do something a little bit different. So I added some very, very bright orange into this, I guess, darker palette. So what we're working with, we're working the andesite, stone brick, some dark oak, and we're working with the acacia wood. So how I did this, and I wanted to have a very dark roof that attracts from the outside. If you're not looking from the inside, you're looking from the outside, that attracts your attention because it's a very dark color compared to the grays. It's very, very focal. But when you come onto the inside, you have a very bright orange on the inside, which works really well together with the very dark brown. And so I guess there's a focal point on each side. There's one on the outside and one on the inside, which is a good other, I guess, technique of building more or less than just the palette choice. So this is our palette. I think this works very well together. If you're going to go ahead and incorporate this into a build, I think it would be very successful. Let's go ahead and move on to our next one. So our next palette isn't really a build palette unless you're going for like a, I guess, an igloo or something, but this is, I guess, a terraforming palette for, I guess, a snow biome. So there's a lot of blocks you can use besides just snow and ice. If you want to incorporate some of the blue glasses and stuff, as well as some of the blue clay, as well as you can see right there, those work very, very well in when you're going with, I guess, a wintry theme, because they're also sort of blue, so which it also simulates sort of like, I guess, icicles and ice as well. And then I also tried to incorporate some, I guess, lighter colored like white clay, because it also reflects like snow in some way, like a darker patch of snow or something. Just mixing in some different blocks that'll, I guess, mix up a little bit of what's going on, kind of textures everything a little bit more. So that's one way. This is just a palette. I'm going to show you what we're working with. We're working snow, working with, I believe, the light blue, and then we're working with both ices, then we're working with the white stained clay, and then we're working with the quartz. So those are all blocks that work really well in like a winter setting. So let's go ahead and move on to our next one. So our next one was inspired by one of the YouTubers by the name of Exumavoid. His colors that he really likes are nice gray, maybe some brown in there, and then he also likes green and purple. So I felt like those colors worked really well together, and you can make a very grand build with it by using the clays as your accenting pieces. As you can see right here, we got some accent piece here working with the green, then we're working with the blues, and then you can see just up here there's a little bit more blue, and those really focal points that are kind of just looking at drawing your eye. So like if you're looking at this right now, when I look at this, the things that draw my eye are these leaves, this block right here, and then this over here. And those are the blocks that are not your typical browns and grays, and that's why I use those blocks so that way those points stand out, because when I put those strategically like right there, that automatically draws my eye up to there. So it's, I guess, a flow. Your eye is flowing. It's going from here, and then it's kind of bringing your eye up there because that's also there. Kind of draws your eye up there, and it makes you look around the entire build to take in all of the build at the same time. So that's just, I guess, a very, very advanced technique. That's almost like an artist type technique technique when they're doing like a painting, they like to try to make your eye movement around the entire, I guess, art or piece of art. That's one thing that I have brought over into Minecraft to incorporate it, is just try to get the movement in the build itself, so that way your eye is looking through the entire build. You're not just going, oh, look at that, and then just, I guess, looking away. So the blocks that we're working with is some spruce, we're working with stone bricks. Those are our typical blocks. They're like our pillar blocks and are just basic blocks. We're working with the acacia, we're working with some oak leaves, but then obviously we have our two focal blocks right here, our two colored clays, and those are very important blocks because, again, they are drawing your eye around the build. So let's go ahead and move on to our final one of today. So our final one is just some more stone or some more sandstone. We're working with the red, and we're working with this, I guess, sandy color. So this works really well together. This is supposed to be like a, I guess, a wall or something, so like a barrier or something. It's, I guess, up here is like the walkway, but these blocks do work really well together. If you took out these as well, that would work just as well. I just decided to cover it up because it adds a little bit more detail. So I hope you guys found that video as helpful as most people should. This is a very, I guess, useful technique, is, I guess, using different color palettes. So I hope this gives you the idea to start branching off your ideas in Minecraft and start expanding your horizons, not using the same color blocks, not using the same color build techniques. I tried to use a lot of varying techniques and color palettes in here, so you guys can get a little bit of everything in Minecraft. If you guys are new to the channel, don't be afraid to subscribe. I feel like this video may attract a couple of new people because it is such a very important thing in Minecraft to expand your palette or your, I guess, block choice in Minecraft. So if you guys are new, don't be afraid to, I guess, subscribe, because we do a lot of building on this channel. I try to do a little bit of everything as well as a lot of building, because that's where I got my start. So if you guys are new, don't be afraid to subscribe. And for those people that are already here, as always, I love you all. So one thing I want to mention before we bring this video to a wrap is, guys, I want to make a sequel to this video, but I want to have you guys incorporate in it because I want to see if I can get some, I guess, fans to do some really cool block choices as well. So if you guys have any other ideas of block choices that work really well together that were not incorporated in this video, don't be afraid to go down to my Twitter below and tweet them at me. You don't even have to follow me, just tweet them at me, because that's the best way to get in contact with me without going through the YouTube comments, because it's easier just to interact with me on Twitter. So if you guys have any ideas for that, don't be afraid to, I guess, tweet them at me, because I will go ahead and shout you guys out in the, I guess, sequel to this video. I don't know when that will be out, but if we do get enough people to just drop down some, I guess, stuff into my Twitter, I guess we'll have that video a lot quicker. So if you guys have any ideas for block choices, don't be hesitant to tweet those at me. So as always, guys, I love you all. See you guys later. Peace out.